Hello, welcome to the second part of my big office move, my big update. And if you've seen part one, the first thing that you will notice is that my office has changed around. The desk used to be over there in that corner, and this stuff here used to be over there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Watch part one if you want to see what it looked like before, if you're that way inclined. Now the other thing that you may notice here is this is an absolute tip now. You can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. Okay, I'm not making an omelette, but I am reorganising my room. Now, if you did miss part one, basically what I'm trying to do is to get rid of all the extension leads and all the cables and to put a rack in and to try and manage things much better by having everything inside that rack. Now, I had to change the room round because the rack is going to go in this corner here. So where that chest of drawers is, that is going, and that space that I've made there will be for the rack. That will go there. And going inside the rack will be my Raid. That's not rack mountable, you'll be quite right, it's not rack mountable. But it will sit on a rack mounted shelf in that space. Now, big news in this part, if I walk down the hall here and go through this door, then I have a huge pile of boxes, and that's because in this massive box here on this pallet is the rack. It's in there, and I've also ordered some other bits and pieces. The rack mounted shelf will be in this box here, and then I've got some other bits and pieces in this box on the top. PDUs and some cables and what have you. So what I'm going to do is to unpack a few of the bits and pieces and to show you where we are and what stage we're at. So I'll be back in a moment. So I've now unpacked everything, and in the big box was this rack shelf. So that is going to do the job, and my NAS will sit on that very nicely. And to give it a bit of extra support, I've also got this shelf, this clamp bar here, which I can then put in on the rear of the rack, and that will give a bit of extra support to the shelf. These other bits and pieces here, you can see I've got a PDU there, and that's got 6 normal UK sockets in, and on the other end that will go into my UPS, which is yet to be ordered. And similarly, I've got some cables here which will also be for the UPS. So I've got a shorter one here, this is for the NAS. I'm going to the, got a UPS connector to go into the UPS, C13 there, go into the UPS. And this, I've got 2 really long, these are 5-metre cables, and these will also go into the UPS, and that's for my computer and monitor. And what have I got back here? Oh, that's just the box. Oh, right, okay. And then here, this is a thermostat, and this is for the rack and for the fan in the rack. And what that will do is that it has a temperature setting on there, which is upside down, and then I can set the temperature at which I want the fan in the rack to be triggered. So it won't be going all the time, it'll only go when it reaches that particular temperature, and then the fan in the rack will kick in. So, speaking of the rack, let's come back out here. As you can see, I've taken some of the card exterior from it. There is the rack. And I was a bit worried to start off with, there was a mark down this side and also the corresponding other side, big mark, and I thought, oh no, it's a scratch. But I've got a damp cloth to it, and that seems to have, you can't even see it now. So that panic over. And as you can see, this rack actually has a nice top on here. This is just MDF, but the idea is it sort of fit in with your other office furniture. Okay, it's not the same colour as my other office furniture, but it doesn't matter. It's quite a nice, sturdy top, and I will actually be putting my printer on top of this, and then again I can put the cables down the back, and that will work very nicely. We've got a little gap there so that we can still get ventilation up there into the rack itself. So I'm not going to go too far back opening the rack up, you may just be able to see. In fact, you can see it better, I think, on the video than I can with the naked eye. You can see in there, you may be able to make out that there is actually foam inside the rack, and the reason that there's foam in there, or is it just the cardboard box? Actually, it's more the cardboard box, I think you can see. But there, you can see the sort of bumps in there, I think, of the foam. This rack actually has acoustic foam in it, which keeps the noise that comes out of it down by about 8 decibels. That's the theory. We shall see in practice how well that works. But that is the rack, 18U rack, and it's really well constructed actually. This is really sturdy. It's nice that it's come on a pallet and it's not something that you have to assemble. I don't know how common that is with racks. It probably isn't. I'm making myself sound like an idiot. But there we go. I'm not going to take this anymore off this because I want to finish in the room and clear space before I move it in there. And if I come back into the room, there are some other things that need to be changed. First, that radiator I mentioned in part 1, it's still here. So I'm waiting for that to be replaced, because then there'll be a bigger gap between the wall and the radiator for the rack to actually push back a little bit closer to the wall there. And the other thing that I'm doing is decorating. There's the colour scheme. So I've got a feature wall, which is on the left. Yeah, bright. I like it. And the one on the right is mint chocolate, I think that one was called. And that's going on all of the other walls. But this main wall here is where that feature colour is going on. Yeah, hey, come on. So there we are. That's where we are. It is an absolute tip in here at the moment. I've tried to keep my work area relatively clean, but everywhere else, as you can see, is just a mess at the moment. And I really need to sort the space out for the rack, get the radiator sorted, get some paint on the walls obviously, and then I can get the rack in here and start actually making some progress. As far as ordering things are concerned, I still need to get the switch. I'm going to get a switch, 24 port switch to replace my 8 port switch, and I also need to get the UPS, and also still to order some patch cables and the patch panel. But I think other than that, I'm doing pretty well. So thanks for watching. This is the update. Wasn't an awful lot happening here, but I'm really hoping in part 3 we'll be at the stage where the rack is coming into use, and I'll be actually unpacking some of this and wiring a few things in. It'll be a bit more activity for you to see. But thanks for watching, thanks for staying with me on this journey, and I'll catch you in the next part.